Hi, I'm Jeremiah. Welcome to Up at Night. This podcast is all about learning from thought leaders, academics, and professionals based on one fundamental question. What keeps you up at night? Welcome to Up at Night, everyone. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by Sandrine Milante. Sandrine is the founder and CEO of EcoloPharm, an innovative company that's transforming the world of prescription drug packaging. And it's a world that needed changes. So, Sandrine, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so glad that you had some time to give us.
Thank you for having me.
So let me dive right into it because it's a very interesting industry, and I'm really curious as to when you built EcoloPharm, what was the mission? What brought you into this world? Because let's be honest, if I want to start a business tomorrow, probably the last one I would think about is after mattresses, obviously, is probably drug packaging. So please tell me a little bit about this.
Well, first, you would be wrong because medicine and prescription drugs is a very interesting market. It's growing every year, big numbers in growth because people are getting older and we are more and more medicated, unfortunately. Or is it a good thing? I believe it's a good thing because we live longer than ever. So yeah, it's a huge market, and it's something that people rarely look in the packaging side of it to really understand what it's behind the medication that you're receiving at your pharmacy. But you're going every month, every 90 days to get your script renewed, and you're generating a waste in packaging, and you're having a carbon footprint with something that is, you don't have any choice. You have to go get your pills. You have to go get your meds, and you cannot receive it directly in your hands and, okay, take your pill. So there's a packaging, and that packaging is very much valued in how long your medication is going to last, how is the molecules going to be protected. So I find it completely fascinating as a market. It's something that no one had looked before, and there were no innovation for the past 40 years when I launched EcoloPharm. So yeah, it was a good place to start a business, I think.
I mean, I think you're doing amazing. And, from that mindset, this is where I would like to dig a little bit deeper. We're obviously talking to entrepreneur people who aspire to be entrepreneurs. And I find your motivation to be very strong, very powerful, because at some point you realized, hey, you know what? I care about this ecological shift. I care about, our carbon footprint. I care about making this place a better place than the generation I was born in. So how did you approach that? Did you just took a leap of faith? What motivated you to a point where you said, I'm actually going to start a business? Because it's pretty risky.
Yeah. And sometimes people are saying, well, you're very courageous. And I'm always saying, no, I think I'm more crazy than courageous. But anyway, I was general manager of a family business. I was taking over a family business that was doing injection molding pieces in custom products. So everyone could come and ask that company to inject plastic for them and mold the product. We were working a lot with cosmetic companies and also pharmaceutical companies, and we were manufacturing vials. And at one point, what gave me the spike to open my own business, to start my own business, was when you're asking question and no one has the answer. When you're asking question about to your customer, why am I forced to do little boxes of
Mm.
100 unit of vial. And the answer is that's the average script that a pharmacy is serving every week based on 1974 numbers. So I wasn't even born, and I was 30 something years later working with a standard and a reference that was completely past and that didn't make sense anymore. In 2008, pharmacies were doing about 1,000 press script per week. So when we were shipping boxes of 100, a pharmacy would have 10 boxes every week shipped to the pharmacy and generating waste of 10 boxes and plastic bags. And uh, it's just at one point when you're asking the right question and you're receiving answers like, that's how it's done, and I don't have a better answer to give. Well, maybe it's time to challenge a little bit more and say, okay, so if everyone is comfortable with that answer, not me, that means I'm the one who's going to change it.
I love this idea because that's how usually a good company is started is, there's a status quo and you come up with an idea that is disruptive enough that people are like, oh, you know what? It is actually a good idea. And that's
Yeah.
pretty much what you put into action in an industry that, like you said, from the 70s didn't really involve, right?
And one of the greatest compliment that a customer gave to me many years ago, he said, yes, you're a disruptor. I said, oh my God, if a customer, a big one, is considering EcoloPharm as a disruptor, well, that's mission accomplished. That was the point of the company. We want to change the way people are looking at their packaging, at their carbon footprint, taking responsibility of it, and asking more from their supplier. I'm just a supplier of packaging, but ask more from all of your value chain all across your process, and you'll be surprised how better you could do things and how differently you could do and manage a business and have a positive impact.
I like this idea because I see a lot of entrepreneurs being um, stuck in their position and they're like, my day to day is so crazy. Don't ask me about changing this. It's working. Why would I change that? And you literally transformed a business model in manufacturing that has been going on for so many years. You focus on sustainability, and most people, as much as they like sustainability, you say that word and they're like, how much it cost, right?
Yeah.
And how do you fight that? How did you made a business out of it and a good one and one that is sustainable on top of that?
Well, it's when you're willing to do the real changes, when you're willing to put in place an integrated reflection on all of your process, not just trying to manage one part of sustainability, not just looking at, okay, I need to find a way to manage my end of life of my product, or okay, I need to find a more local supplier of my material. If you're putting the effort on rethinking every step and putting in place an integrated process, you have a lot of money to make on every step. I'm always saying, by design, my product is using 35% less plastic than other comparative product. I'm using 55% less electricity and water consumption in the process. I'm using 40% less cardboard. I removed all plastic bags. I have no assembly step in my process. How could it be more expensive for the customer? How isn't it money to make as a company when you're just doing things better, when you're doing more with less, doing more product, more smart products, more multifunctional product with less. So it's kind of optimization on steroid. You're pushing it to measure a carbon footprint, yes, but first it's just allowing you to rethink all of your process. If you didn't have any boundaries, if I'm asking you, what would you do if you could start all over again?
Mm.
That's what I said. That's what I did. I took over that family business and I said, oh my God, I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. That's impossible. So what if I start all over again? And I completely rethought the business model, the whole market that we were in, that I took the knowledge of injection molding and I said, everything else, I'm starting it from scratch.
That's
So
pretty amazing.
yeah, there's probably a little bit of craziness behind it, but allowing you to think about it. How would you do things differently if you could start all over again?
From scratch.
That's where you have the best ideas.
I love this. I love this. You've been a trailblazer in eco innovation, not just vials and pharmaceutical. People know you for your creativity in tackling, complex problem regarding to eco conception. That comes with a heavy weight because, like I said, a lot of enterprise, a lot of companies are all about, saving costs, profits, and this usually doesn't come with a linear growth path. It's steps, it's big investment, it's a lot of risky bets probably sometimes. How do you handle that pressure? And if people are interested about changing the status quo in an industry, it's going to come with challenges. What would be the advice you would give that person?
To go back to their core value, I think that, you know, your podcast, it's what keeps you up at night. And I'm
Yeah.
always saying, I'm sleeping damn well. And it's mostly because I think that every decision that I make, every step that I take, that sounds like a sound. um, all of those decisions are made with an alignment to my mission and to my values. And so, yeah, it's risky, but at one point, I'm completely comfortable with those decisions. And by having that vision and that mission so clear and so um, kind of put in front of everything, it brings people very engaged to work with me. It brings
Yeah.
customers that are also very engaged, business partners. And so, yeah, I feel like I'm not the only one to take that risk, and I'm having fun. I'm having fun.
And that's important because it's not easy. So if you don't have fun, it's going to be a long ride.
It's going to be a long ride.
Mhm.
You're going to put your health at risk,
Yeah.
and you're not going to be able to sleep.
Yeah. No, talking about that, we're entrepreneurs as well as you can sleep. Something must have kept you up at night over the last 12 months. Without going too personal, what could it be and how did you overcome it?
Um, hmm. There's two things that kept me up in the past 12 months. There's one thing about my team, my people. When I'm hiring people, I'm always saying I want them to be engaged, and if they're losing that engagement, I put this on myself.
Yeah.
It's my fault. And lately there's 4 people, 2 that I had to let go and 2 that left on their own. And it's challenging. It's challenging because you're there's one that was with us for 12 years and I had to let her go. And you say, I know that it's the right decision, but yet it it kept me up at night because I was hoping to bring that person somewhere else at another level, and I feel like let her down. So HR is really, most of the time, it's what's harder to sleep well on. And the other thing is, however, we're well prepared with a big strategic
Yeah.
plan, with objectives and everything. We are right now in a big project with construction of a new building, and we're growing very, very fast. And it's also something that is very exciting, but at the same time saying, oh my God, there's so many money in that project. And I'm always saying, oh my God, am I going to be the right person to bring that company to the next level? This is a challenge. This is always a question that I'm asking myself. Am I the right person to bring that company farther?
It's it's um it's crazy that you bring that, but I think any founder, not necessarily CEO, but founder, have that lingering doubt that where is my limit? Is it 1 million? Is it 10 million, 100, 1 billion? And you're right. Some people, it's hard to know where that limit is because you don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't brought a business to $1 billion, you don't know you're capable.
Yeah.
If you did, right? If you did, awesome. You can probably replicate some of the wins, but you're right. It's just so hard to navigate the unknown. And often a lot of people are yeah, unfortunately losing sleep over that. But thanks for sharing this. I find it very interesting to have that outlook. Now, if we look back on the journey, because you've grown tremendously over the year, what would be the milestone you're the most proud of?
I'm very proud of the structure that I've put in place, of the people that I've put in place, how I've built a team that trusts each other
Hmm.
and know how to work together. First, there's the fact that I've I built that company at a point I wasn't. It's coming back to our last subject. I wasn't sure was the right person to do it. I wasn't really confident that I could do it on my own. So I had a partner. I hired someone, gave him shares of my company, and I was putting him in front and saying he's the old white man that's going to be the face of the company. I'm too young. I'm too woman to be able to do it on my own. So I I've it cost me a big legal uh, legal
A settlement?
a settlement with a big court process and everything. So it cost me a lot to take back the control over my company. And I'm very proud that I was able to do it. And it fit with a hard financial situation of the company. And being able to restructure and to bring back efficiency and profitability into the company, that's a big achievement for me. But after that, it's really how the team is structured today that allows me to look at most of my days, not
Yeah.
every days, but most of my days, and I'm looking at it and I say, oh, I don't think that I'm useful anymore. I they're they're completely uh independent. They're very empowered in their job and engage, and yeah, it makes me feel more useless.
But you know what? That's probably the best feeling you can have, because for anybody who listen, at some point you're gonna face the reality, which is, and that's gonna be my next question. You will most likely, and I wonder if it was the case for you, have a start where you're gonna be very unbalanced. You're gonna sacrifice a lot of personal stuff to grow that baby. But if you ever reach that point where you almost feel useless because you've created such a strong team that is independent and you get to work on your business rather than
Yeah.
inside your business all the time,
Hmm.
that feeling is just so good. But going back to that
It's
question,
it's crazy. Yeah.
was it balanced? Because I want to debunk the fact that people think, and you know, you're in pharmaceutical, you're in eco concepts, you're a B Corp. But despite all that, I want to know the startup part, because I really want to know if it's possible to be the perfect balanced person while you build a business. Or, like, I think it's a completely ludicrous idea to think you're going to be able to work 30, 40 hours a week and build something successful.
What is the perfect balance? It depends on every individual. It depends on the life project that you have. It depends on your priority or anything or past choices that you've made. Um, I think that I'm perfectly balanced. And I'm sorry, you know me, Jeremiah. I'm maybe not in the eyes of others, but I feel like I'm balanced with what I want to do and what I want to leave behind me and what I want to achieve. At one point, there's I my daughter, when she was four and a half. She got back from soccer practice, and I asked her, "How was your soccer practice?" And she said to me, "If you want to know, you just have to come and see me." She was four and a half. And I looked at her and I said, "But I don't want to come and see a couple of kids running around with a ball, shooting it in the wrong
That's
goal and in the wrong net, and ice ice my butt on the bench." No, I don't want to be that kind of person that is going to be on Facebook and not even
yeah.
looking at her kid. And I said, I'm asking you that question now because I have an interest in what you're doing. And I don't need to be in trying to fill a role as the perfect soccer mom. And it if you don't want to share it with me, too bad. But I I realize that what I need to show my daughter is that if you're doing something that you love, if you're working for something that is greater than yourself
Yeah.
and that it's making you happy, that's a lot more important than being at home and thinking about a job that you don't like and something that went wrong today and you're kind of frustrated and your kid feels that you're not here anyway. You're physically here, but you're not available for your kid. So for me, that perfect balance was not many moments, but high quality moments with my daughter. And yes, there's a lot of guilt and there's a lot of stereotype about a superwoman that could balance everything and go get her kid at school and everything. Later, when she started school, the school didn't want to give it to me, give my daughter back to me at the end of the day because they never saw me and they didn't think that my daughter had a mom. So they asked me to show them my
No way.
license to see my name because they weren't
Are you serious?
believing. Yeah, I'm pretty serious. So yeah, there's those moments where you feel the guilt and you feel the look of the teachers looking at you and say, that kid is in that school for 2 years and that's the first time I see her face. But when I'm looking back at the moments that I built with my daughter, the relationship that I have with her now, I wouldn't exchange it for anything. And yeah, the company that I've built took a lot of time, a lot of space in my life, but no, I had a very supportive husband too.
Yeah.
He balanced it. I think you have also to understand that you're never alone in life. So you need to find a way to balance it with your life partner, with I've balanced it with my sister to take care of my parents and everything, because I cannot do everything on my own. And that's a big, yeah, I'm kind of
But that's a great
realizing a lot
lesson.
of things. Yeah, it's a
That's
good
a great
lesson.
lesson
I'm
because
pretty good with that. Good.
yeah, and you know what? We have a finite amount of energy that we can use, and we get to decide where we spend it. Because I mean, as far as I know, I don't know anybody who can work, maybe, I don't know, Elon Musk there, who can work 16, 18 hours a day and be productive. These people don't exist.
Yeah.
And usually the majority of the people, we can't, after 8 hours of really hard work being focused, you're brain dead. You can't make great decisions anymore. And I agree with you. You get to choose where you want to spend that energy, and being smart with your decision today will have a drastic impact on how you live tomorrow. So
I'm saying often, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. And it's not true that you don't have time. We all have the same amount of time. So we have the time, but we can choose what we're doing with that 24 hours. And so when someone is asking me, did you had time to look at my email or something like that, I'm never answering, no, I didn't have time. I didn't take the time to. And that's showing that, I'm sorry, you weren't my priority. I'm going to take time to do it at another point of the day. And if I'm not taking the time, you should probably ask someone else for help.
you know what? As rude as it sounds, that's a great recipe to create autonomy.
Yeah,
Because you know what? That person needs to find the answer nonetheless.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I didn't took the time. And if I'm not able to tell you when I'm going to take it, ask
Find a
someone
solution.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Great advice. Because at some point, every entrepreneur or everybody who runs a business or even a team will have to, when you manage people, whether it's your business or not, there's always going to be one person that's going to take 10 times more time than the rest of the whole team.
Yeah.
And you got to set boundaries.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, I'm curious, talking about boundaries, what is the next boundary for EcoloPharm, and where would you like to bring it?
This is something that I'm thinking more and more. Yes, we're growing, we're building a new plant, we're adding production line. We want to be able to double our capacity, but in the same time, we want to decrease the consumption of packaging. So for me, if I'm able to decrease the consumption from every pharmacy across the country, I will increase the impact of what we're doing on the environment, and I would allow my production capacity to reach out more pharmacies and have a larger impact again on a larger territory. So it's, when we're talking about decreasing our
Yeah.
economy, I believe that's the next step. I don't want to be adding more production line in the near future or whatever. I want to be sure that what I'm able to produce right now could have the largest impact and reach out to a largest market. And for that means that pharmacy needs to decrease their packaging usage. And
That's
I'm
such a
going to
great,
advocate for that.
yeah, because you're right. Reducing consumption doesn't mean lower business, smaller business. It's just larger possibility to grow in the territory. So I
Exactly.
love this. I love this. Sandrine, thank you so much for your time today. I really do appreciate. If people are interested about learning more about EcoloPharm, they can go on the website,
Yes, of
ecolofarm.com.
course.
You're also pretty active on LinkedIn. You speak at different conferences. So
Yes.
LinkedIn is the best platform to reach you?
Yeah, of course.
Cool. So Sandrine Milante on LinkedIn. And thank you once again for being on the pod this week. I really do appreciate that, Sandrine.
Thank you very much, Jeremiah. And have a nice end of the week.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for being part of the Up at Night family. If you've liked what you heard today, don't forget to rate, follow, subscribe, or leave me a comment below. New episodes of Up at Night drop every week. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss a single episode. I'm Jeremiah Curvers. Until next time.